if you want another example of box 3 innovation, next practices, how about the microfinance revolution that Dr. Muhammad Yunus unleashed from Bangladesh in 1983, for which he won a Nobel Prize in 2006. By the way, in the early 80s, when Dr. Muhammad Yunus pioneered this concept, those days he used to be like me, a college professor. He used to teach economics in Bangladesh University. And as you know, Bangladesh is prone to famines. And in 1983, there was a severe famine in Bangladesh. And 166 people from the village where Dr. Muhammad Yunus grew up, 166 villagers were starving to death. And all that they needed was a $25 loan. So Dr. Muhammad Yunus went to a local commercial bank, which, by the way, happens to be the leading commercial bank in the world. He went to that local commercial bank and said, I understand you're in the business of lending money. I have even made your life simple. I brought the 166 people who desperately need a loan to your doorsteps. Since your business is to lend money, why don't you give them the $25 loan? And the commercial bank did their usual risk analysis and concluded these are high-risk customers. So they said no. Then Dr. Muhammad Yunus looked at his pocket. He had $25. He said, why don't I become a banker? Let me see what happens if I give them a loan of $25. So he gave them a loan of $25. Something interesting happened. Of course, 166 lives were saved. That was the most important thing that happened. But something else interesting happened. He actually got the money back with 10% interest. So he actually made a profit. So he told himself, if I can make a profit by converting 166 non-consumers of bank into consumer of bank, think about how much money I can make. If I convert every non-consumer of financial services on planet Earth into consumer of financial services. There are 7 billion people on planet Earth. Out of the 7 billion, only 2 billion have the purchasing power to buy the goods and services corporations make today. The 5 billion are too poor to afford to buy those products. That means 5 billion are non-consumers of just about every product or service. So Dr. Muhammad Yunus said, why don't I create a bank for the 5 billion poor? So he went to the local commercial bank and told them, I understand you are the best in the world. Would you be humble enough to give me all your secret sauce? I want to set up a bank just like you. I have no idea how to start. Would you tell me all your best practices? So Dr. Muhammad Yunus patiently wrote down all the best practices of the leading commercial bank in the world. Then he started his Grameen Bank, his micro-lending institution, with exactly the opposite rules. He said, if the best practices of industry leader cannot convert non-consumers into consumers, simple common sense tells me next practice has to be the opposite of current best practice. So you take care of the 2 billion rich, I'll take care of the 5 billion poor. You operate in urban areas, I'll go to rural areas. You give mega loans, I will give micro loans, $25 per piece. You lend to men, I will lend to women. You ask for collateral before you give a loan, I'm going to ask for no collateral. You ask people to come to the bank to get the loan, I'm going to take the bank to the people. Since 1983, Grameen Bank has given US $10 billion loans. In $25 increments, that's a lot of loans, with 99% recovery. In fact, Grameen Bank has been one of the most profitable banks. Even at the peak of the financial crisis in 2008 and 2009, Grameen Bank was the only bank which was financially sound. In fact, it was the only bank which did not get government bailout money because it is based on innovation. I was talking to the management team of Grameen Bank and asked them, I understand your next practice in the early 80s when you started. Since that time, have you made any other nonlinear innovations? And the Grameen Bank top management team told me, VG, we only do next practice. We don't benchmark ourselves against other commercial banks. And let me give you an example. Grameen Bank decided they will convert another non-consumer bank into a consumer bank. So they targeted beggars. See, beggars are the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the economic pyramid. They said, why can't they be consumers of finance? The management team in Grameen Bank caught hold of 10 beggars on the streets of Bangladesh and said, now you are customers of Grameen Bank. So you're going to get a $25 loan. As you know, micro lending is always connected with micro enterprise. So they give you some training so that you acquire some skills to use the micro loan to start a micro enterprise so that you become self-sustaining. And this is the skills that they taught the beggars. You're a beggar. You go begging door to door every day. When you go begging door to door every day, ask the household whether they need anything. Maybe they need vegetables. Maybe they need toys. Maybe they need cookies. Use your $25 to buy whatever they want. And of course, you can charge a profit margin. After all, you're providing a valuable service. You keep all the profits. You give me back my $25 with 10% interest. Then I'll give you a $30 loan. This is the way they wanted to make sure the beggars stay in the system. And Grameen Bank's management team was telling me, VG, we started this box 3 experiment 6 months ago with 10 beggars. We thought we will enroll 100 beggars. They have enrolled 500,000 beggars. In fact, this is one of the most profitable customer segments for Grameen Bank. I bet you Bank of America or Citibank will not target this opportunity. Out of the 500,000 beggars, half of them have decided to become door-to-door salesmen. Of the remaining 250,000 beggars, 50,000 of them have decided to stick to their core competence, namely begging. They said this selling is too complicated. The remaining 200,000 figured out they can do both. There were some houses which were ideal for selling. There were other houses which were good for begging. My point is this. If you want to become a leader in the future, you have to engage in box 3 innovation. It's terribly important. That's nonlinear innovation. That doesn't mean box 1 is unimportant. Box 1 is terribly important. That's your foundation. Scissors are terribly important. And you have to strengthen the scissors, which is linear innovation. Innovation is needed in both box 1 and in box 3. The box 1 is linear innovation, box 3 is nonlinear innovation. And if you want to move to nonlinear innovation, you have an intermediate step called box 2. You have to somehow selectively forget the dominant logic as you execute box 3 innovation.